Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your brother Mujadid Hama'a, and today is the third day and third principle of Kwanzaa. The principle is Ujma. Ujma. Ujma means to build and maintain our melanated communities and to make our own brothers and sisters, their problems, our own problems. Ujma also is connected to a famous Arabic phrase called ijma, which linguistically means to come together in agreement. Although ujma is a key Swahili word, clearly you see the link and connection. So with that, here is what ujma is in a sort of full scope. As we've been living under white supremacy, the understanding and comprehension of pushing self-identity as an individualistic format or as an individual concept has spread greatly among our melanated people, that we as individuals just are by ourselves. This comes from a capitalistic white supremacist concept, of course. And so what it does, it makes the hearts hard towards each other, wanting to ignore each other and instead look upon ourselves as individuals and not look at the other people or others among our people as going through the same issues and problems. So Ujma is the concept that we reconnect and we understand that we are going through the same problems and the same struggle, because we indeed have basically the same identity and same enemy. And so what we got to understand is that the white supremacist system, what they have did is they have put into our hearts hatred for each other. You know, as soon as we disagree with one another on something, there's a concept of separation that comes about and rises up in our heart. Instead of having the concept that, hey, you know, I may disagree a little bit here or I may disagree a little bit there, but there is a big enemy out there whose aim and interest is to keep us separated so that he can rule or she can rule globally upon melanated people all across the world. If you go look all over across this world, in every country that you run into, you will find that the whiter skinned people dominate over the darker skinned people. Black people, African people, whatever name you want to put on it. They dominate over them and oppress them and or discriminate on them. And so this is a global issue among our people, our Komi people. Okay? And so, alaikum salam, brother. So Ujma is the principle of bringing us all together collectively, with the collective mindset, with the collective understanding, with the collective goal of ending that type of supremacy. So, you know, definitely we also have to take into consideration, have self-criticism. This doesn't mean that we don't criticize ourselves, because a person who can't criticize himself or the people, they cannot see their flaws. We have to be able to look at our flaws. We have to be able to look at our strengths and then come together based upon that. And I want to point something out to you that's very important nowadays. There are many people claiming to be conscious. There are many people who have good speech. There are many people who have good personalities. You know, you should never follow personality. You should always follow principle. And here's what I mean by that. If you take a look at your enemy, the FBI, COINTELPRO, go get those papers. Go look up the FBI, COINTELPRO, and go look at what they are afraid of. And if you read those things, you will find that the one main thing that they want is division. They do not want Ujma. They do not want the unity. They do not want the cooperation. They clearly, explicitly say it. We do not want the rise of a black messiah who will unite all black nationalistic organizations or movements together as one. And when we talk about together as one, we're talking about Ujma. Right? So if you can look nowadays and you can see any leader out there claiming to be conscious, and if he is not upon wanting some shape or form of coming together, but you see that he's always pushing for division on some type of level, then you found your agent. Then you found your agent. Then you found your agent. And so it doesn't matter how good the speech they have. It doesn't matter how good the sound they have. It doesn't matter how many followers they have. If you find a leader out there who is against the principle of Ujma, because this is very important. If you find him against that principle, he's always pushing for division, you found your agent, you found your infiltration. You need to look to those people who are about unity. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. Jazakallah khair, sister. Buffering. That means it's going in and out, sister. It would be doing that right now when I'm talking about Ujma. So basically what I'm saying is, on the part that is buffering, if you find yourself a leader, if you find yourself anybody that is against the principle of Ujma, which is togetherness of our people coming to collectively in the mutual interest of building our communities worldwide. If you find anybody against that who's always pushing division, I'm not talking about he's saying with his mouth, but he's always in action pushing, or she's always action pushing with division, you found your friend of the COINTELPRO. And it don't matter how long they've been around. And so you got to overlook people like that, and you got to start reassuming within the self, us as a people, of having that connection. Because Hollywood clearly promotes division among the people through different type of attitudes, through different type of, here's something I want to also bring up. You know, people, right now we have a thing where, you know, the Kemetic and, you know, against Islam, or Kemetic against Hebrew, or Kemetic against whatever. Here's the thing about it, is that it doesn't matter to an extent what a person adopts as their spirituality when it comes to division. When it comes to, what I mean is, if they're a Muslim, if they're a Christian, if they're a Jew, if they're Kemetic, if they're this or that, what matters is the depthness of their heart when it comes to this subject. Because if a person is stuck on division, that is an issue within the heart. It don't matter what they adopt. They can adopt Islam, they can adopt Judaism, they can adopt Christianity, they can adopt Kemetic beliefs. If that person's heart is based upon division against other within his own communities, that's what's going to manifest. And the reason why I bring that up is because I have heard several Kemetic brothers say Islam brings about division among the people. Christianity brings about division among the people. Judaism brings about division among the people. Okay? And so they blame it, or they attach it to the actual ideology, or they attach it to the actual spiritual belief. But if you turn around to people that claim Kemetic, they are still involved in division and arguing with each other and debating. See? So it's an issue of the heart. Because Marcus Messiah Garvey, he was a Christian, but he was about the unity of his people. The brother Jalil Muttaqin of the Black Liberation Army, he's Muslim, and he is about the unity of his people. Okay? Josiah Ford, if I remember correct, if that's the correct name. Josiah Ford, he was a quote-unquote black Jew. But he was about the unity of his people, because what it is was common between all these people is they look into their scripture and they look into their heart and they say, what is the desire of the one and only who created all things? And that is unity among the people. Now, you might have differences of understanding of which way spiritually to go, but that should not never usurp the unity of the people, unless a person himself or herself is a person based on division. And they're trying to tear everything down. Then that, of course, quite naturally, you have to be against those individuals or that person because they are about division. So this principle of ujma is more deeper than a lot of the principles, because it goes at the very heart of white supremacy itself, which causes people to become divided, so that the white supremacist government, these oppressors, these shaitan in the flesh, they can keep ruling over us. It's one nation against another nation globally. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. So if they're united upon their wrong and we're divided so much so in our right, then who will be supreme in the land? We have to understand this concept. So that's what I want to share with ujma. So once again, ujma is to make our brothers and sisters' problem within their life our problem, and to try to solve it together as a people. No one says easy, but at least it's spoken about, and the steps can be taken to actually do that, you know. And as long as a person has an intent inside their heart, then they're working towards that goal. But if a person doesn't care, if a person's just based on money itself, then they're worshipers of that devil on that dollar bill. You know, they're not concerned about unity of the people. Because unity is the stepping stone to defense. Defense is the actual effect of unity. How are you going to defend in a strong concerted effort if you're not united, but the enemies are united? It doesn't work like that. So anytime you see a leader claiming he's some type of leader, or he's doing certain things, even if he's doing some good in the community, and she's constantly on division, that's where they're at. It's a game then. It's just a game. It's a cover up. It's a show. They showcase them. They're not really about, the unity like that. And that's why you look at the conscious community and it's in shambles. Because agents of all stripes, of all forms of what you want to call styles, have infiltrated it. That's why it's not getting nowhere. Because they've infiltrated a long time ago. And some of these leaders that are coming up are actually agents themselves, and some of them are paid off informants. You see? So if you want to act, you talking about, one of the signs is you talking about you going to unite your people. Here's the ridiculousness of this. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this one. Here's the illogical understanding that many are pushing in the conscious community. By the way, if I didn't say at the beginning, happy Kwanzaa. We are indeed the harvest. This is about harvesting this unity that we're talking about right here, so we can have true defense, true offense towards our enemies. So I was losing my train of thought. If you have basically a leader that's going around, or she that's going around, and they're consistently bent on this unity, you're not going to get nowhere with that. You're not going to get nowhere with that. And I had lost my train of thought what I was going to speak on. Let's see. I was talking about the people, there being agents, there being informants for division. And then I was talking about, what was I connecting to that? And I said I was going to spend a little bit more time on that. Man, I lost it. It might come up to the one tomorrow, inshallah. But in all countries that you look, when you see a darker population, a black population, and a white population, you always find them discriminating. You go over there to Saudi Arabia, they discriminate. They're racist. You know, oppression upon especially Ethiopians. You go over there to Tunisia. Them white Arabs over there, they're racist upon the black Tunisians. You go over there to South America, you'll find that the white Spaniards or the white Spanish, the white Colombians, they're racist and are prejudiced upon the black Colombians or black South Americans. Wherever you go in the globe, you will find that the white ones in power and ruling are racist upon the black ones in that country. Lebanon too. Doesn't matter where you go. And even inside Africa itself, if you find a black person supposedly in power, oppressing his own people, you will find that he is connected to a corporation ran by white people. So again, he's just a black white person. You know, meaning his heart is not for his people. His heart is not Ujma. His heart is white supremacy. So, you know, this is a common thing that is going on worldwide. That is why it's a worldwide issue. And that's why, you know, Ujma is a very important principle within this. And if you notice, there are many people. Here we go. Battery's starting to go low. So, okay, I'm gonna talk about Maulana Karenga, basically the main founder of Kwanzaa. Now, some people say he is a CIA agent or FBI agent, and here's the thing. You know, he did time too. He did time. So, you know, usually they don't make their own due time. I don't know one way or another. I wasn't born back in the 50s. I wasn't in the 50s, you know, 60s like that. You know, I wasn't back then. So I couldn't tell you if he is or he isn't. Here's what I do know is that the principles that form Kwanzaa, those principles existed before that man. This I do know. And so therefore the principles in themselves are valid, because you can find them principles within African culture, and you can find them principles also, you can find them principles in Islam. It's right there. The very word Ujma is connected to the Arabic word Ijma. Although the word Ujma is a Kiswahili word, we know that Kiswahili has Arabic in it. You also have, you know, Ujama. That comes from the Arabic word Jama'ah. You also have the last of the principles of Kwanzaa called Imani. Well, we clearly know what Iman is. So, I mean, the very principles of Kwanzaa are rooted way before anybody decide to collect them together and say, hey, look at this. So, Ujma is a very, 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 very important, you know, principle. And exactly, Semitic peoples, you know, Semitic peoples. So, indeed, you know, Ujma is one of the essentials. And that's why the white supremacists hate that principle so much. And here's what I was about to say. It just came back. Alhamdulillah. If you notice, most of the people who speak against the principles of Kwanzaa, they are the ones pushing for division in the conscious community. If you go look at that, most of the ones speaking against the principles of Kwanzaa, which Ujma is one of them, which brings about the unity of the people, are the main ones pushing for division. So that's where you find your COINTELPRO. So I would urge people to go get that and actually really read COINTELPRO A to Z. And then what you do is you go throughout your community and you go look at the leaders. If you want unity, if you want collective action, if you want us to actually, our hearts to start coming together, you have to, bypass those people. You have to, look at the criteria on what the enemies are scared of. And you have to go to the leaders and see what they're pushing. And if they're pushing what the enemy is scared of, then they are correct leaders. But if they're pushing what the enemies love, then they are not the real leaders. They are not the real ones. Okay? They are the agents. They are the reflection of the exact rulings that those white supremacists have put down for them. COINTELPRO is the rule book of division. And Ujma within Kwanzaa is the rule book of those who want to be united among the people. They are both opposite. So if you find one speaking from his mouth, supposedly about unity, but his actions, and even in his mouth, is about disunity, for no other reason than his ego, or desire, or gain, he's an enemy. She's an enemy. And you cannot get Ujma, correct, true Ujma like that. It's just not going to work like that. So that's the first thing that needs to be done within a wider so-called, they call it conscious community. Now within our own souls, within our own selves, we have to reach out to each and every one of each other, with or without a leader. You don't need that. The leader is what's born within the heart. The leader is the one that comes forward out of the heart. May not even know they're a leader until stuff start coming together. And they're looking like, oh, okay, I guess I have to take the lead then in it. Right? So actions and intentions is what makes the leader. They begin to manifest. Just by, the coming together of people, and before that, even in pre-stage, a person may be a leader by the messages that they give that will spark people to come together. So there's different stages to that. It's not just one stage, and so we have to really, really, really reach deep inside our own hearts and fight against what white supremacy through Hollywood has taught us, that we are just individuals only. And that we don't care, that we have a hard heart towards the next man or the next woman. And when I say next man, the next woman, because, and this is Kwanzaa, I'm referring to our melanated black or African people or black Semitic people. I mean, there's Hamitic too, if you want to put that along them lines. But the fact of the matter is all about Nas, the many multiple different tribes of the black nations coming together as one again, globally, against our oppressors who have taken all the lands. And they've come into all the religions. They've come into all the spiritualities. Even the ones over in Africa, you can find them in Africa, they inside them practices, getting carried on a little seat. So this is to let you know, Ujma is a very important principle, regardless of what a person calls themselves. So definitely within the heart, we have to start breaking that idol that white supremacists put inside our head and start actually having collective unity with our people. It's no one says it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. We're in this world as a test. That's how you get your blessings. We clay and we in the fire and we're being molded and shaped. You see how ceramics come out like? So that's just the test. You embrace the test with a smile, like, okay, good, bad, nice, ugly. It's hard, definitely. But that's why they call the word, you know, ijtihad, or, you know, jihad, striving. You got something in your way and you trying to struggle against it, you know, and you building yourself and you trying to build others as best as you can. It's all about intentions. Whether it goes through or not, that's up to the creator who created all things, you know. But unity definitely is indeed the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of this. May our hearts be reconciled, and may we see our brothers and sisters problems as our own, so we can work together in Ujma. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my Muslim brothers and sisters, and black power and black liberation to all of us, regardless of your spirituality or practices. Happy Kwanzaa.